Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Hello you guys and welcome back. Okay, oh my gosh, okay, you guys, I have had just a crazy 2 weeks. I can't even just be like, oh hi guys, how's it going? Everything's great, everything's good. Girl, oh my god, everything is going on. So sit down, relax, and let's get into it. Okay, let's go. Okay, I don't even know really where to start. So I know there are a couple of things. I should really write this down, but I feel like when I do these kind of videos, it's just really easy for me to just kind of talk to you guys. And it's kind of just like a ramble on for myself. And that's just like with every video that I make. I basically just tell you guys everything that's happening on in my life. And it is crazy, especially working in retail. But currently, right now there's a lot going on. So first things first, I'm moving right now. My official move date is going to be on October 4th. So I am hoping that I'll be able to have some videos ready up for that, because I will be having to take off my entire setup in my room. And I don't know if I should give you guys a room tour, and we're gonna kind of redesign it and make it look nice. I get my own bathroom. It's really fun. Or maybe I'll just make my room in The Sims and we can kind of go through it together. I don't know. But let me know if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, so I'm moving. That's number one. Number two, I just finished my streak of working 9 days in a row. I am so beat. I'm so tired. But we're pushing. We're pushing real good, okay? And then also, Social Blade. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Social Blade before. I know I might be just overreacting or getting scared for nothing, because it's just a website, yada yada yada. But basically, if you guys are on any sort of platform, there is a website called Social Blade. Now you just type in your basically you just type in any username and it will show your statistics, and it will kind of give you a brief show of how your channel is progressing. It will show you kind of an estimate of how much you're making, just kind of those things in general, which is kind of what it likes to track. Now, with that, I'm starting to stress out because Social Blade said that in 2028, as my channel progresses the way that it is, if it just kind of stayed the way that it kind of goes up, it said that I would reach over 200,000 subscribers in 2028. And I was like, okay, that's not too bad. That's, even though that's 4-5-ish years away, that's still all right. That's okay. And then the other day I was on it, just checking up on it, and then it dropped down from 200,000 plus to only 27,000. And I was like, huh? I'm like, whoa. I'm like, huh? What's going on? Why are you acting like that? So now that got me stressing, and I don't know why. I really shouldn't. It's just a website. It's not even a full thing, but it is what a lot of content creators look at. And I don't know how it drops so drastically. I don't know. I really shouldn't just think about that, because it's not that big of a deal. But you can see, if you were a content creator wanting this to be a full-time job, and you're like, oh, in 28 that might be possible, and then it drops down to bam, 27. I'm like, that's not it. Now, the next thing, I don't know if I am missing anything. I probably am, but the next thing on my list okay, so lately my phone has been overheating excessively when I am charging it, and it stops when I am charging my phone, and I literally just touched my phone currently because it's charging, and it gets really hot. Now the battery isn't swelling, but it does get warm. So I don't have a Apple store in where near I work. So I was like, okay, there is a Jump Plus place that is kind of close to where I work. So maybe I can just go over there and take a look and see if they can even maybe do a little run and see if there's any way that they can kind of help me and figure out what's kind of going on with my phone. So I go over there, and there's this really nice girl. She comes over, I tell her what's happening with my phone. And then she goes, now, Jamie, I just want to let you know that like sometimes you might experience some data loss because even though we put things into the iCloud, sometimes it may not work. So if you want, we do have a thing that you may have to buy for $40, but it's a backup in our system to make sure that you don't like lose any of your stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I think I have stuff on my iCloud. I'm not too sure when I backed it up. I think it was going through a backup currently because I just bought some more iCloud storage space. But yeah, if you find that it's not working, I'll pay for the 40. It's just because I've had things since like 2016, 2017 on my phone of, past relatives, loved ones who have gone, like all things like that I like to keep because I have really bad memory. I've had like 4 concussions. I forget a lot, and I like to keep my stuff because 1, it's precious memories, and 2, I just don't want to forget anything. Now, with that being said, she was like, okay, well, if you want, you can, but we think that the backup will go through, and if it doesn't, we'll give you a shout and you can come back and then you can pay for it. So I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. So they had to keep my phone like all day. So I was like putting my faith. I was like, okay, you do it. All they have to do is kind of like do a factory reset. They did do like a backup. They said that they were going to do a backup so that everything would be safe, and then they just reset my phone. So on my break, I came back and I was like, hey, like, how's everything going? She's like, oh, Jamie, it's good. Like, everything's on the backup right now. It's almost done, but don't worry, everything's good. And I was like, great. Okay. So I don't have to pay for the 40. Okay. No worries. So I left. So at the end of the day, I'm waiting for my phone. It's been like so many hours. I think it was like 6 or 7 hours. And I'm waiting. She comes in. She's like, here, Jamie, here's your phone. I'm like, oh, thanks so much. And she's like, okay, all you have to do is just back it up and everything should be back on there. And I was like, great. So I have my phone and I'm backing everything up. And so it takes a really, really long time because the internet where I work and the internet like at my house is so bad. So it takes so long for it to even back up at all. So it took me like a day for it to back up. So for the next day, I come in and what I see over 30 boxes of shipment. Now, guess who's there? Emma's there. Everyone, for all of you who are new, we don't like Emma in this group. This whole place, we don't like Emma. Emma is just, she causes way too much issues. So I come in and I see all these boxes and Emma says, oh, I went through 6 of these boxes, so the rest is ready to go to offsite. And I was like, oh, okay. And the boxes that she worked on said offsite. So she said the ones that I wrote down that said offsite, I went through those boxes, took some stuff out and put the stuff that we needed in the store in the back room, but you can take the rest to offsite. This is Edit Simspiration. She put the stuff in the boxes, but she put them back all willy-nilly, so I had to like go back in and like fix them because she didn't put them back in the proper boxes. Anyway, I'm continuing. So basically offsite is just another spot or an extra place that we go to put all of our extra product in. So I was like, okay, so it took me about an hour because we had over 30 boxes of just so much shipment and it was absolutely insane. It took me about an hour, but I brought it back. Now, my newer manager that came in, she's really nice. We really like her. I don't know, let's name her like, I forget what name I used for her. I think, okay, let's just name her like Mary. So Mary comes in and she sees it and she's like, oh, hey, Jamie, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it's good. It's good. I'm just bringing these shipments over to the offsite. And at this point, she only saw me grab like the last like 5 boxes. And she's like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, awesome. Thanks. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I come back after I move all the shipment and she goes, wait, hold on a second. You brought the boxes to the offsite? And I was like, oh yeah, that's what Emma told me to do. And she goes, oh honey, no. She's like, you need to go back. We have to like open the boxes and write on them because we have to like write everything down and mark everything down and make sure that everything is in the boxes. And I was like, oh no. I'm like, okay, I'll go down, I'll go back, and I'll do it myself. It'll take me a long time, but I'll do it. It's okay. Now, at this point, Mary doesn't know how many boxes we actually have, but it was so many. So that entire shift, I was gone, and I was working through like all of my stuff. And at this point, I'm waiting for my phone to back up. And as it finally starts to back up, it shows that I had only 800 photos and 100 videos. Now you're like, oh, Jamie, that's a lot of videos. That's a lot of photos. No, 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 no. Girl, no. You know what the problem is? I had over 3,000 photos and I had over 300 videos and they aren't there. And I was freaking out. And I'm sorry if I start to like sound like the Grudge or something. I have been crying profusely. I have been crying so much these past couple of days. And I was so baffled because I was like, oh my God, I started freaking out because I was like, oh my God, I'm like, where are my photos? Where are my videos? I don't know what's happening. Where is everything? And the problem is that I've had about 4 concussions. So you guys, I have a really bad memory and I have things from so long ago that I like to keep because I forget and it's really bad. And like with anyone, obviously anyone would want to keep a bunch of photos of past loved ones and stuff like that, which I had on my phone. And it's just like, they were gone and anyone would be upset. And I was crying crazy profusely. So I have been on call with Apple support for the past 2 days in a row and I was just freaking out. So I got an appointment to talk to an IT guy and he was going through my phone and he ran a diagnostic test on my phone to see why it was kind of overheating. And he even saw, without even having to factory reset my phone, that there was something wrong with my phone. And he's like, oh my God, he's like, yeah, you need to take that in like ASAP. And I was like, yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on. And he's like, oh, but this is really weird. And I was like, what's weird? And he goes, your phone hasn't been backed up in the past 2 weeks. And I was kind of like thrown back a second because I was like, what do you mean the past 2 weeks? They literally just told me that they backed it up yesterday. And he was like, no, he's like, this phone hasn't been backed up in 2 weeks. He's like, I've never seen this before. And he was a senior like IT person from Apple support. Like he has never seen this before. And I was just like, why me? And like he was like looking at all this stuff and he's like, this is so weird. I don't know where they put your photos. I don't know where they put your videos, but it is gone. Like I don't know where they are. And I'm just like, oh my God. So we started to like kind of panic and I was like panicking obviously. And I was like, okay. And he's like, well, he's like, I can at least make you an appointment at that jump store to go in to get approval, you know, to get your phone looked at. And I was like, okay. So I'm like freaking out, you know, going through these boxes again. I'm at offsite by myself and I was on call with my boyfriend. I was like crying. I was like crying all day. And I go over to the jump place and the girl who did my phone was there. And I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like conflict. I don't like doing any of that. But I went over and I was like, hi. I'm like, I backed up my phone and I explained to her what happened. And she was like, you know, Jamie, I mean, you did sign a thing saying that you're okay with loss of data, anything like that. And I was like, girl, I'm like, I signed it, but I let you know that I was willing to pay the $40 to have a secure backup. And I told you if anything looked wonky, tell me and I can figure that out and pay, you know, like I signed it, but I didn't actually think I was going to lose 90% of my photos. And she was like, I did see about over 12 gigabytes of photos and videos. And I kind of just like ran with it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, but she was like, but I saw something weird, but like I kept going. I was like, girl, I'm like, if you saw something weird, just stop it, please. Like, just tell me, I would have paid. And so at this point, I'm just trying not to like cry because I was like, what the heck? And she's like, you know, our things are kind of wonky, yada yada yada. And I'm like, well, the guy did my phone and he saw that it was never backed up, but I have like an appointment to like come look at my phone so that you guys can fix it. And she goes, oh, okay. So then she brings me over to the counter and the guy over there said that since they ran the diagnostic test on my phone, they saw that there was no issue. So he was like, don't even bother coming in on Friday because like we can't do anything. So don't even bother coming in. Like, don't even bother showing up. And so I was like, so is there nothing you can do about my phone or even my photos? Like, do you even know if it maybe like transferred to the computer? Or did you plug it into a computer? And she was like, no, like, sorry, Jamie. She's like, our things are just sometimes a little wonky. But you signed the thing saying that you're all right with data loss. And I was like, I told you if you saw anything weird. Or I even told you in the beginning, I was like, I'll pay for the 40. Like I don't care. And then they just like went along with it. And even doing that, I shouldn't have lost almost 90% of my photos. So this has just been a whole thing. And then I leave trying not to cry, and then I got back to the offsite and I started bawling everywhere. And then I started going through boxes again. I started talking to Apple support because I was just like, I need someone who has seen this before. Like the man that I was on the phone with, he was great, but I need to find someone who knows how to get that stuff back. It wasn't on my iCloud. It wasn't anything. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what they did. So I called another man again, and he said that I'm going to have to get an appointment booked at another Apple store this weekend. Because today you're seeing it, it'll be Friday, but I will be going on Sunday at 5 to go get my phone checked out and hopefully get fixed. And then once that happens, they'll be able to dive a little deeper and try and hopefully to figure out where my photos and videos went. But I'm not getting my hopes up. I don't know anything. I don't know what's happening. So I go back to the store, and I am just like, you can see my face is all swollen. I'm just beat. I'm so done. And Mary saw me, and she was like, Jamie, she's like, are you okay? And then I explained to her what happened, and she was mad because she was like, I can't believe like that happened to you. I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. So I left. But before I left, my old manager came in, and she saw that I was wearing like my apron like half down because I just came back from the offsite, and she goes, Jamie, she's like, you know, you should be wearing that properly. And I'm like, I literally just came back from offsite. Hi, editing Simspo. Just 1 second. Sorry. Hi. When they told me to do the offsite run, they told me to bring the boxes to the offsite. And then when I came back, they told me that I had to go back there and like take the stuff out of the boxes. And then I went back, and then they told me that I had to take the stuff out of the boxes, put them on the shelves. So this is what I mean when I continue to talk. And at this point, like, you guys, I never show any attitude, but I was so done with everything right now. And she goes, she was like, you know, you shouldn't have your thing like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I just came back from offsite. I apologize, but I'm leaving right now because I'm done my shift. And I kind of just grabbed my stuff and I left. And the Mary, she saw like how I was feeling, and she was like, yeah, Jamie just came back from offsite, like, don't worry about it. And then the old manager kind of like nodded her head, but like didn't smile, didn't say anything. She's kind of iffy, whatever. So I left and I went home, and I've been on, Apple support trying to like talk to them. I come in the next day, and Mary's there, and she's talking to me, and she's like, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's all right. I'm just trying to like figure everything out. And so she was like, okay, the old manager is going to come in today. She might want to talk to you because she wants to talk about the offsite. And at this point, you guys, I have been spending probably about 2.5 days to 3 days in the offsite. And today, the day that I'm talking to you about this story, I was going to go in and finish what like I finally did, because I was almost done, but there was like a lot of boxes everywhere. So I was like, oh great, okay, like the old manager is going to come in and tell me that like the place was a mess, like why are you leaving it like that or something like that. And then I'm like, no, I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna finish it today. So apparently Mary told me that she came into the offsite the night before, like when I left, and she went over to the offsite, and she was just like having a panic attack because she was like seeing all the boxes everywhere. There was stuff in the boxes that were still, like written on and everything, like where I left it before, right? And so I was like, yeah, I'm here to fix it like today. So the old manager comes in, and she's like having a talk with Mary, and then she sends Mary off to like, go back to work. And she's like, I'm gonna steal Jamie for like 5 minutes. And then she was like, okay. And then I like came to the back, and she was like, Jamie, like, what were you doing yesterday? And then I was like, well, I was in the back for about 3 hours, and I was on call with IT. I told Mary that. And then I was also taking stuff out of the boxes. And she was like, right, okay, so you've been in there for 2 days, and that shouldn't have taken you that long. She's like, I don't know what you've been doing. Like the place was a mess, and I was like, yeah, like I was explaining to her, I was like, yeah, I was coming in today to finish it, 'cause, but I said, I was like, I went through like 11 boxes yesterday. There's over 30. I'm like, I was, constantly working. she's like, yeah, but like, you know, and then she started rambling on about like how, you know, things should have been going faster. And then she was like, you know, if all the boxes were already written on, then all you had to do was just take them out, then, you know, then it would be done. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, no, 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 no. And I cut her off too. And I never cut people off. But at this point, you guys, I'm so done with everything. And I was just like, no, 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 no. I'm like, girl, no. I'm like, I took the boxes. I was told to bring them to offsite. And then I come back. And then I was told to go back and take them out of all the boxes, write on them, put the SKU numbers on them, do everything, and then put them back in the boxes. And then I was told when I came back after doing all that, that we had to take them out of the box and then put them back on the shelf. And so she was like, oh, wait, what? And I was like, yes. I'm like, that is why it's been taking me so long. Minus probably my crying session for like an hour and a bit, maybe probably a half an hour. I'm like, other than that, I have been constantly working. And she was like, oh, she's like, I thought I was like, I thought I had to like take disciplinary action on you. And I was like, no, I'm like, I have been working all day and all night, like being there. Like I've been working constantly. I put on my Disney music and I work. That is what I'm doing. While also being on call with IT, because I can multitask. Okay, I'm pretty okay with it. And she was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, you need to talk to Emma, not me, because this has been a whole miscommunication with a bunch of things. So I was about to get scolded, and I was like, girl, this is not the time to scold me. I'm like, I am always so like respectful and so nice, but like don't tick me off right now, because I will like, girl, I will say something. So after all that conversation, I go home and I see that Belle has charged me $600 for my phone bill. And I was like, what the heck? And this has already happened to me before. And this happened to me last month because there was like a mistake or whatever. And then I had to call with like 3 people. And the second person was like, we can't do anything. And then I was like, no, I need like, this needs to be not a thing. So then he took me to someone else on the call. And then they were like, oh yeah, for sure. We can like take it off for you. And I'm like, great, thanks so much. So then like the day that I saw, like after I had that conversation with the old manager and I saw that they charged me again, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm like, this is just like another cherry on top of like everything. So I see this and I go in to work the next day because I saw it at nighttime, and I call them on my break, and the guy was like, oh, okay. He's like, I see what's happening. He was like, okay, we can fix it. He's like, the only problem is that we can't give you back the $600 because like on like deposit wise, like automatically online, because you caught this like not on the day of. And I was like, in my head, I was like, the reason why I haven't caught it on the day of is because the day that they charged me was the day that they reset my phone. So I didn't get the notification, and I got like not locked out, but I guess like kicked out of all the apps that I have because it factory reset it, right? So I had to like log back in. And then I saw the other day that they charged me $600. So they have to send me a check to my house. And it takes about 3 to 5 business days. But you guys, it has just been a crazy week. I don't even know if I properly said everything. I was talking to my mom today about everything, and I said it like pretty well. But my brain is just kind of fried right now, you guys. I'm sorry that this video has been dragging on, but it has been absolutely crazy, and I am here building a pizzeria. I haven't even talked about the build, and we're at 23 minutes. I'm sorry. But I really wanted to catch you guys up. And there's a lot been happening, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So pray for me, please. Please send your praise for your girl, because I have a lot of photos and videos of people who aren't in my life anymore and things that aren't in my life anymore. And I'd really like them back because it's memories. So, there's just been a lot. I apologize if I don't sound as upbeat and happy as I usually do. But if you guys are new, hi, how are you? My name is Jamie. I'm also known here in Simspiration on YouTube. And I talk about my life and I talk about my stories. And if you want to hear me more happy, just go back and look at some of my old videos if you want. I have a bunch. And please, if you would love it, and I would love it, if you guys would like, comment, and subscribe as well, because I hope that Social Blade is wrong. It should be wrong. I hope it is. Maybe it's just a little glitch, but if we can make it come true, that'd be wonderful. But I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day and a wonderful night wherever you guys are. And I should really end the video now because it is very long. But if you have stayed to the very end, thank you so freaking much. And thank you guys for supporting me through everything. Even though you guys just heard this, but through everything. So I can't talk, I'm sorry. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, night, and I will see you all later, okay? Bye, guys.